MINI's transition to being a full electric car maker must of course include larger models, and this was the first of them, the Countryman Electric. This characterful lower mid-sized SUV aims to bring a bit of visual and dynamic joie de vivre to its rather sensible segment. You might just end up thinking that it does.
The MINI Countryman Electric is the first larger electric Mini. Here, we're going to check it out. The very first electrified production Mini of any kind was a Countryman, the PHEV version, launched back in 2017, just before we saw the full battery Mini electric hatch in 2019. These were the early signs of the company's intention to transition into being a full electric brand, underlined by the introduction in late 2023 of the second generation Mini hatch electric and of this car, the Marque's first larger EV, the MINI Countryman Electric. This German-built, full-battery Countryman doesn't share its lithium-ion cell pack with the smaller EV hatch because it's a bigger and heavier thing that also needs more power and the option of the company's all-4 four-wheel drive system. Actually, almost everything you can't see, inside and out, is shared with BMW's two smallest electric SUVs, the iX1 and the iX2. But it offers all that technology at a significantly more affordable price. What might also be tempting is that this Mark III Countryman design is no longer a very compact thing, now properly big enough to do battle with family-shaped, lower mid-sized EVs. To find out more, you're going to need the usual thorough car and driving road test. All electric lower mid-sized SUVs usually sprint forward with the slightest dab on the throttle, but by and large they offer precious little else to reward the enthusiastic driver, especially when it comes to the twisty stuff. The Countryman Electric does its best to be different. Now, of course, it won't be quite like a mini hatch electric to throw around the corners. The extra weight has to show somewhere. But you can expect a few more smiles per mile than you get from the vanilla class norm, especially if you select the most vibrant of the provided Mini Experience drive modes, Go-Kart. There are two Countryman full EV variants, both using a 64.7 kilowatt-hour battery. Things kick off with the single-motor Countryman Electric E, which offers 201 horsepower, 62 miles an hour in 8.6 seconds and a range of 287 miles. The alternative is the Countryman Electric SE we're trying here, which adds an extra electric motor on the rear axle, creating the nominal all-4 four-wheel drive system. This boosts total output to 308 horsepower with 494 newton-meters of torque, and the 62 mile an hour sprint time drops to just 5.6 seconds. But range drops as well to 269 miles. You can set different levels of regenerative braking, but there are no steering wheel paddles to do so. Just a left boost paddle on this twin motor version, which is there to give you an extra 10-second acceleration injection for quicker overtakes. We mentioned extra weight earlier. Well, predictably, there's quite a lot of it compared to the equivalent combustion models, 300 kilograms more with the E and 450 kilograms more with this SE. You'll feel that through the bends. There's a drivetrain and chassis screen menu, which allows you to select either drive-off support for smooth takeoff on slippery surfaces, or Mini Sound, which, if selected, adds in a tube train style driving noise that, if you're anything like us, you'll quickly want to switch off. Different chassis settings, all of them quite firm, are available depending on the model you choose, including an adaptive suspension option that lowers ride height by 15 millimeters. You can select between 7 Mini Experience modes, only 3 of which, Go-Kart, Core and Green, affect drive settings, steering and throttle response, but also ride quality if you've specified the optional adaptive suspension. The other experience modes, Trail, Balance, Timeless Vivid, personal and core are mainly about sound and colour. We quite like Timeless, where the central touchscreen becomes a recreation of an original 1959 Mini Speedo, and the motor noise is supposed to be reminiscent of a 4-cylinder petrol engine. Apart from the closed-off grille and the lack of an exhaust pipe, there are no obvious visual differences between this full EV Countryman and its combustion counterparts. This third generation design is significantly bigger than its predecessors, the largest Mini ever. It measures way past 4.4 metres in length and is 13 centimetres longer and 6 centimetres taller than the second generation design introduced in 2016. Some will find the swollen stance visually challenging. And there are some curious touches like the heavily stylised C-pillar with its branded panel. Black plastic wheel arch surrounds and roof rails supply the crossover vibe, and big wheels from 17 to 20 inches suit the current trend. At the front, there's much the same octagonal grille and range of lighting signatures as you'd get from the latest MINI Electric hatch, though here the LED headlights are of a lozenge shape. At the rear, where Countryman letters are separated out across the tailgate, the vertical LED light clusters, here with latticed finishing, but also available with a Union flag motif, are reminiscent of classic Mini design and can be switched to different modes in the same way as the front headlights. Let's take a look inside. At the wheel, it's even more difficult to spot that this is an EV Countryman rather than a combustion-powered one. So, as usual with a third-generation Countryman, everything's dominated by the brand's 9.4-inch LED Mini Interaction Unit round central screen. Unless you've got yourself a model with a head-up display we have fitted here, there's nothing to view through the steering wheel but this artfully fabric-trimmed fascia panel. That panel has been shorn of most of the usual switches and buttons. This small central lower panel with its toggles for gear selection, experience modes and power is all that remains. Other distinctive Mini touches include the vertical vents, mirrored in shape by these silver door handles, and this unusual lidded box between the seats with its fabric tab. Spend big and you can add in all the JCW touches we have here, like this chunky sports steering wheel and the grippy sports seats. As mentioned earlier, this big circular central display self-consciously dominates the cabin, perhaps inevitably given that this one screen must perform the functions that in other cars are handled by at least 2 and sometimes 3 separate displays. It's rather overburdened with information. Ever-present aspects of this OLED monitor include the drive elements on the upper half of the screen and a status bar on the lower part, which has a home button flanked by the main infotainment elements: phone, navigation, radio and climate, because ventilation functions unfortunately haven't been separated out from this monitor. Cabin temperature gauges flank this status bar, and the central part of the screen has an area that, depending on how you swipe, can show either an analog clock, a drive assist graphic, an efficiency readout, your audio selection, mapping or phone settings. There's optional 5G capability, and you can add to it all by using this screen to visit the Mini Connected store, where you can add individual apps or a package of Mini Connected upgrades. The vibrant colours of the display and the big gauges that show either side of its middle infotainment section vary as you scroll through the various experience drive modes, some of which seem to be trying rather too hard to be fashionable, and all of which are accompanied by individual chimes on activation. Talking of fashion, there's Spike, Mini's provided personal assistant. You can download games to play while you're charging, and there's also a rather cringy Let's Celebrate feature that features a beating soundtrack and a dancing cow. Back in the real world, cabin storage is a mixed bag. The glove box and door pockets aren't particularly big, and this sliding armrest between the seats doesn't have any space within. An open tray beneath has a 12-volt socket and 2 USB-C ports, though it would have been helpful to get at least one of these inside the aforementioned Mini box, just in front, so smartphones could have been charged out of sight of prying eyes. Ahead of that mini box are twin cup holders, and ahead of that there's an open stowage area with a ledge for a wireless charging mat just above. Ticket clips are in the sun visors, but there's no overhead stowage compartment for your sunglasses. Enough on the front, let's take a look in the back. Here there is a key difference over the ordinary Countryman, and it's quite a significant one, in that there's no provision for the seat base to slide due to battery placement beneath, which means that leg space can't be as potentially generous. At least the backrest still reclines through 6 positions by up to 12 degrees. Despite the fact that the floor level for this EV version is a little higher, headroom is fine, even with this optional panoramic glass roof fitted, which is worth having because it floods the otherwise rather dark cabin with light, helped by big rear quarter-light windows. Standard models have 940mm of headspace. Twin USB-C ports are provided with these twin vertical central vents, along with a somewhat useless shallow tray beneath. There's the usual armrest with twin cup holders, plus seat back pockets and overhead grab handles that incorporate coat hooks, and beady little LED reading lights. The door cards have somewhat fiddly vertical handles and scratchy top sections, fashioned from that knitted polyester, but they incorporate quite generously sized bins. Let's finish with a look out the back, accessed via this power-operated tailgate. Now, the slightly higher floor doesn't seem to have harmed upper boot space, still rated at 460 litres, though here, as we said, it can't be varied with the position of the rear bench. Battery placement has also severely restricted the underfloor room, here confined to this narrow coffin-like compartment for the charging leads. As with the combustion model, the loading bay sill height is high, which won't help in lumping in heavy loads. Plus, you get a recessed area to the right, a netted area to the left, a 12-volt socket on the right, bag hooks on both sides, a warning triangle in the tailgate, and no fewer than 6 tie-down points. For the carriage of longer items, the 40-20-40 rear seatback split is convenient, allowing things like skis to be poked forward between 2 rear-seated occupants. If everything needs to be folded flat, then up to 1,450 litres of space can be freed up. As we filmed this in autumn 2024, prices for the car were starting at around £42,000 for the base Countryman Electric E. By means of a comparison, at the time of this review, the petrol Countryman C was priced from around £29,500. Prices for this Countryman Electric SE All-4 model, as we filmed, were starting from around £47,000. Think in terms of a saving of around £4,000 over an almost identically engineered BMW iX1. You might also want to know that the next model down in the MINI Electric SUV hierarchy, the Aceman, was priced, as we filmed, from around £32,000. Of course, this Countryman Electric's price point puts this Mini slap bang into the middle of a congested segment of lower mid-sized EV crossovers. It's quite hard, though, to pigeonhole its positioning exactly. This Mini a little larger than cars like Hyundai's Kona Electric, Volkswagen's ID3, Peugeot's E2008 or Volvo's EX30. But a little smaller than, say, a Volkswagen ID4, a Tesla Model Y or a Ford Explorer. For a more precise match from cars also straddling these two classes, we'd be looking at contenders like Skoda's Elroq and Kia's EV3, which are similarly priced to the kind of money Mini's asking for here. If it's a Countryman Electric that you want, you'll be choosing between 3 available trim levels: Classic, Exclusive, or, as in this case, Sport. And all are well equipped. The Classic trim presents the brand's logo in a new colour, vibrant silver, and there's a range of 3 external paint finishes: melting silver, midnight black and nanook white, plus 2 roof colour options and 3 wheel options. All EV Countrymans get things like alloy wheels, LED headlights, dynamic cruise control, rear parking sensors, a rear view camera, a powered tailgate, a heated sports steering wheel, sports seats upholstered in synthetic leather, and so on. And they all also come with a much improved version of the brand's MINI app, which will be particularly useful if you've got this electric version, briefing you on battery range and helping you schedule charge replenishment. MINI boasts that this is its most connected SUV ever, courtesy of a revised MINI app and a Hey Mini personal assistant voice control system, via which owners can choose digital depiction of a British bulldog named Spike as their screen avatar of choice. The central OLED screen's operating system 9 infotainment setup also includes the usual Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring and cloud-based MINI navigation. Most Countryman Electric customers will be choosing between the two more expensive trim packages. Exclusive trim adds additional exterior design elements such as the option for a multi-tone roof with a combination of 6 different colours, as well as offering the front grille in vibrant silver to match the MINI logo. Finally, this sport trim offers a distinctive front and rear design, including a redesign for the front bumper, rear bumper, side skirt and spoiler, while using high gloss black as the frame for the front grille and logo colour. You can combine that with a contrasting chili red roof and the optional JCW touches and red and black bonnet stripes we have here, which is just a taste of the vast number of ways you can spend more to personalise your Mini. On to safety. Now, all models get all the usual passive safety features and the expected camera stuff: a front collision warning system, lane departure warning and a speed limit warning, speed limit exceeded warning beep, something you'll probably be fishing around to turn off every time you start the car. If your Countryman Electric has what MINI calls its Level 2 equipment pack, it'll also come with automatic active cruise control, which includes active lane keeping assist and automatic adoption for the speed limit detection, so the car will automatically adapt itself to posted speed limits. Pay the substantial sum more that MINI wants for its Level 3 equipment package, and fortunately you do get a vast amount more: side collision warning, lane change warning, exit warning, distance control, road priority warning and a lane change assistant. There's also route speed control to automatically control the car's speed through fast corners, and a stop at traffic lights feature, which will pre-warn you to stop at a set of oncoming lights, and also includes a drive-off reminder that tells you when the light's gone green, should your attention have drifted off elsewhere. With the Level 3 pack, MINI also includes its extended automated lane assistant functionality that provides for hands-off highway driving in heavy traffic up to 37 miles an hour, which, believe it or not, is now legal in the UK. There's a charging section of the centre screen that allows you to set up what MINI calls a departure plan, as well as to set charging limits and use the brand's convenient plug and charge DC charging system. The 64.7 kilowatt-hour battery that both variants use can be rapid charged at rates of up to 130 kilowatts, and so connected can be replenished from 10 to 80% in half an hour. AC charging via the usual 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box takes 10 hours, dropping to 6.5 hours if your home or office happens to have a 3-phase supply and you can fit an 11 kilowatt wall box. 22 kilowatt AC charging is optional, which would allow a 3-phase supply to charge the car even faster. Whatever Countryman Electric variant you select, you'll want to use the MINI app as part of its battery replenishment regime. This provides a convenient overview of the vehicle status and charging process, including current battery status, charging optimised route plan and charging history. As expected, there's the normal 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, and the battery has its own 8-year or 100,000 mile warranty. Most customers here will want to buy into the provided MINI Electric Pay monthly service plan to manage maintenance costs. Residuals should be strong, and MINI itself offers fully comprehensive insurance, but you might find that your own broker can improve on the premiums your dealer can offer. All electric versions of the Mini hatch have been around in one form or another for over a decade. But the concept of a larger Mini with full electric power is quite new and difficult to pull off. It was hard enough for the brand to try and replicate trademark darty Mini handling with earlier generation combustion-powered Countryman models, whose extra weight over their little hatch counterparts was immediately obvious to Mini loyalists. Add in the prodigious weight this time round of a huge lithium-ion battery pack and you've the recipe for a potential compromise in brand values. Yet, rather against the odds, this Countryman Electric seems to get pretty close to delivering on its difficult development remit. And it does so while moving the game on substantially in terms of cabin design and media connectivity. There's actually nothing quite like it in the segment, which is in itself refreshing and different, as every Mini should be.